When Bruce Willis's wife, Emma, first spoke about his dementia, she admitted that she thought they were just dealing with some marriage problems. But the truth was much deeper than that. They were actually the early signs of a disease. In this episode, Shauna shares her own caring for her dad with Alzheimer's, and together we'll unpack what Emma's honesty revealed, from missing the signs, to getting no plan after diagnosis, to why asking for help actually isn't failure. The truth Emma shared is this: the outbursts, the forgetfulness, the personality changes, that's the disease talking, and not your loved one. And that's exactly where Emma's story begins.
In simple terms, for Bruce, it started with speech and spread. I finally understood that those crazy marital issues were not Bruce. Neither were those off moments and subtle shifts in his personality. They were the result of his brain being dismantled, taking part of the husband I knew and loved with it.
Does that remind you of anything with your dad where you thought that the changes in his behavior was just maybe his personality, or did you know from the beginning that it was Alzheimer's?
When you're that close, it's so easy to miss. His stories were getting longer. His jokes were winding with no punchline. Was starting to drink more. And I was like, is this drinking? What's happening here? And then I was mad at him for that, because then I was like, why don't you have more self-control? I did not understand the full extent of what Alzheimer's really does to a person. For my dad, there was a lot of energy around no longer being able to drive. He was really upset about this. He was a captain. He, wheels or boats, like that's his independence. His ability to get from place to place is so essential to his sense of self. One of my best friends from childhood had offered to just spend time with my dad, come over. He's a personal trainer. So he's like, hey, let's go shoot some hoops. Let's stay active. And that was also my way of kind of trying to keep tabs on my dad. He happened to have this like really cool vintage car that his grandpa had given him. That was like his one inheritance. He'd spent all of his time getting it fixed up. He loved this thing like another family member. And he parked it in the driveway at my dad's house to go and shoot hoops with him. And my dad, who at the time I'm not realizing is really losing a lot of his ability to have self-control, sees this car, this super cool car, it immediately ignites anger in him about not being able to drive. He's reacting like a child would, like a 5-year-old or a 6-year-old. What that led to was him being really angry at this car that's parked in his driveway. And his solution to this, to my best friend's inheritance from his grandpa, is to go out and take some bright red spray paint and spray paint about 30 different X's all over this car in my dad's driveway while my best friend is doing a favor for my family. And I responded furious to my dad. I was like, how could you? You need to go out there and clean it, like right now. This is not okay. How could you be doing this? And I could tell my dad felt so bad about this. He's sitting there on the other side of the phone. He's silent. And I'm just laying into him for doing this. I'm so embarrassed. I'm like, I can't believe I have to go clean this up now. My dad thinking, because at this point he's got Alzheimer's, right? He's not thinking straight. He thinks he's going to be able to fix it because I've told him he needs to go fix this right away. And he loves me. I'm his daughter. We're so tight. He gets steel wire brush from the kitchen sink and starts scraping the outside of my best friend's car. Now there's just scratches all over the car with my dad trying to fix what he'd done. But he's acting like a 5-year-old, like I'm a mom now. That's the solution that a 5-year-old would have to trying to clean up a mess that they feel bad about. This poor guy who's going through changes in his brain and real lack of control. And I responded with anger. And I thought that he had been doing this somehow to ruin my life and ruin my friend's life. And now, obviously, with the distance of time, I realize that's not what that was. But in the moment, that was my response, and that was the mess. So I totally get what she's saying of misreading the cues and not having the tools as these changes are happening to be able to meet them with the grace that we wish we had.
Emma speaks a lot about what happened after Bruce's official diagnosis. There's a famous clip of her leaving the doctor's office after the diagnosis, just being handed a pamphlet and her having no idea what's next.
That day came, he gave us a diagnosis, and, we walked out of there with no direction, no treatment, no hope, just a pamphlet and a check back in a couple months.
It's the craziest experience on the other side of that diagnosis. I wasn't there when my dad officially got the diagnosis. What I got was the 15 calls that my dad had fled the doctor's office and none of us knew where he was. And I'm like, is my dad okay? Is he suicidal? Like, what is happening? No one can get a hold of him. I'm 3,000 miles away and no one has seen him. His car is still in the parking lot for this doctor's office. What I was given later was an email with a series of PDFs. I just see some phone numbers. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Are you supposed to call these? We grew up thinking that like you go to the doctor, they give you medicine, you're fixed, and everything's okay again. And the realization that actually the diagnosis is kicking off like a whole new life. Nobody sits you down to tell you that. It's literally just a list of phone numbers.
She admits that she didn't feel like she was allowed to ask for help. And she thought that it was her sole responsibility as Bruce's wife to take on all of the responsibility.
I had a neurologist that said, Emma, it's time. You have resources that people don't. You can get help. You can get formal care. And I really sort of dug my heels in on that, thinking like, no, I can't do that. Like, that's not going to fly.
Why? Because you thought you had to do it yourself?
I thought that I had to do it.
Like you're a bad person if you bring in help.
I'm a bad person. I am not fulfilling my duties as a wife if I bring someone in. But I knew that I also needed to be a parent, and I wasn't able to show up for my kids like I wanted to. I ended up bringing someone in. It changed everything for the better.
It changed the way the rest of the family could also operate.
And it also got me back into my original role of being his wife, and that has been the biggest blessing, is that no one else can sit with your person and hold their hand and look at photos and, listen to music and have that deep, loving connection.
And this is something that we've heard from many caregivers, that they feel like they don't know how to ask for help, or they just don't have the permission to ask for help.
For sure. One, you don't know what to ask for help on, right? You're just like, it feels like problems are just coming at you left and right. And you're like, oh, wow, that was something I probably needed help for. And also you're embarrassed. What are you supposed to do? Like, who are you supposed to even ask help to? It's like, hey, I've got this really bad news I'm just going to sink your day with. And I'm not sure you're going to have an answer for me, but like, this is what's happening in my life right now. Getting out of that mindset and realizing this is too big for one person to be able to do, and that actually you will give so much better care to the person you love if you do ask for help. That is a major growing up part of this process.
What do you think this means for caregivers moving forward, with Emma being so open and vulnerable about her story?
Emma is sitting on such an incredible platform with so many millions of people around the world, not just in the United States, but around the world, invested in her story with Bruce Willis. To see them living so openly and bravely out there for all of the rest of us to engage and think about, what does this mean for my own experience with my own family? Oh, it's okay. Emma and Bruce are out there doing this too. It's okay. That's just a tremendous gift that they have given to all of us, to feel like we're normal. This is okay. If they're doing it, we can do it too.
It's got to be tough to be that public and to be that well known, and to be like talking about the things that she's talking about. It's got to be rough.
She is putting the biggest risk out there. I just got goosebumps. Like, do you see? we take it for granted, but like, we're seeing pictures of her kids out there. We're seeing the whole picture, and there's nothing that's more vulnerable than putting your family out into the middle of this. And she is, like I say, sacrificed very intentionally. She is sacrificing her privacy, the security of her family, in order, like, that's how much she cares about making this a part of the national conversation.
I feel the need to I guess speak up when in times of like seeing other people having judgment. I mean, they're open to their opinion, but like, I don't know, it just always comes from a place of entitlement and like thinking that they know what's best for their family, when like we only know like this much.
Totally. And there's parts of this, like, it might not be safe for him to be around the kids. And like, these are things like we will never know, nor should we. Even in our own community at Tendercare, you get people posting inside of our community talking about like, hey, I love my dad, but he's got Alzheimer's, he gets angry, and he's got 30 guns in the house. That is an impossible situation to be in. Super scary, right? You can hear it in her voice as she's posting. What do I do? Like, these are really scary moments where someone in the family has to make a call and there's no right answer, and you don't want to piss someone off, and you also don't want anyone to get hurt. You got to trust the family is probably working with a much bigger set of information.
Emma's story reminds us that caregiving absolutely takes a team. None of us can do this alone. That's why we've built Tendercare, to be the one place where your family can stay connected, organized, and supported when it matters most. See you in the next episode.